Let me ask you something real tonight. How many of you have prayed for strength but secretly doubted yourselves? How many of you believe God can move mountains, yet you hesitate to believe he can move you? See, here's the truth we don't talk about enough. If God placed breath in your body, purpose in your spirit, and vision in your mind, then weakness was never your design. I stand here to tell you this. Strength is not about muscle. Strength is not about noise. Strength is believing in yourself when fear is loud, when the past is heavy, and when the future feels uncertain. God didn't create you to shrink. God didn't shape you to hide. God formed you with intention, filled you with ability, and planted power inside you before you ever doubted yourself. And when you finally believe in yourself, you are not dishonoring God, you are agreeing with him. Tonight, I want to remind you of who you are, what's inside you, and why believing in yourself is not arrogance. It is alignment. Before you ever faced the pressure, before life demanded more from you than you thought you could give, strength was already placed inside you. God does not wait for circumstances to improve before equipping a person. He does not watch from a distance and then decide, now I'll give them what they need. No. Strength is planted first, and the struggle comes later. Just like a seed is placed in the soil long before the rain, your inner power was deposited within you long before the challenge arrived. Many people look at their problems and assume they are unqualified, but the truth is, if the problem found you, the strength to handle it was already present. Think about daily life. A mother who never imagined she could manage a household, a job, and emotional pressure all at once suddenly finds herself doing exactly that. Not because life became easy, but because strength rose up when responsibility showed up. A young person who never thought they could speak confidently stands one day in front of others and speaks with courage, not because fear disappeared, but because inner power activated. This is how God works. He hides strength in ordinary people, then allows life to pull it out of them. Most people underestimate themselves because they judge their ability based on comfort. As long as life is calm, strength feels invisible. But when the storm comes, something awakens. You begin to make decisions you never thought you could make. You endure situations you once said you would never survive. You adapt, grow, and stand firm, not because you suddenly became special, but because what God placed inside you finally had a reason to rise. Pressure doesn't create strength, it reveals it. Look at how everyday challenges shape people. Someone loses a job and discovers resilience they didn't know they had. Someone faces rejection and finds the courage to start again. Someone experiences loss and still finds the ability to love, to hope, to move forward. These moments don't happen by accident. God allows life to test what he has already built. And every time you survive something you thought would break you, that's proof that strength was already there. Many people spend their lives asking God for strength while ignoring the strength already within them. They pray for confidence but refuse to take steps that require courage. They ask for power but avoid responsibility. But strength grows when it's used. God places the potential inside you, and life gives you the opportunity to activate it. When you stop running from challenges and start facing them, you begin to see who you really are. Believing in yourself starts with understanding this truth: God does not make mistakes. If he allowed you to be born into this time, into your circumstances, with your abilities and experiences, then you are already equipped for your journey. Even your weaknesses have a purpose. They push you to rely on inner strength rather than comfort. They force growth. They build awareness, and through them, strength matures. Think about how muscles grow in daily life. They don't grow when they are unused. They grow when they are challenged, stretched, and sometimes strained. Inner strength works the same way. Every difficult conversation, every hard decision, every moment you choose courage over fear is strengthening something inside you. God knew this when he designed you. That's why he didn't remove all obstacles, because obstacles awaken ability. When you start seeing challenges differently, your mindset shifts. Instead of asking, why is this happening to me? You begin to ask, what strength is being revealed in me? That change alone can transform how you live. You stop shrinking. You stop doubting. You stop waiting for permission. You realize that strength is not something you receive someday. It is something you uncover today. The most inspiring part of this truth is that your strength does not depend on others believing in you. It doesn't depend on applause, approval, or perfect conditions. It depends on alignment with the truth that God already placed power within you. When you believe in yourself, you are not being selfish. You are honoring the work of the Creator. You are saying, I trust what you put inside me. And when you walk in that belief, your life changes. You speak with more clarity. You act with more confidence. You handle setbacks with resilience, not because life stopped being hard, but because you stopped seeing yourself as weak. Strength was always there. God placed it in you first, and life is simply calling it forward. Doubt is loud. It shows up uninvited, speaks confidently, and pretends it knows you better than you know yourself. It talks the moment you try something new, the moment you step out of comfort, the moment you dare to believe there is more inside you. Doubt doesn't whisper politely. It shouts. It reminds you of past failures, magnifies your fears, and convinces you that waiting is safer than moving. But here's the truth that changes everything. Doubt may be loud. God's design is louder, deeper, and stronger. In daily life, doubt often sounds practical. It says, be realistic. It says, people like you don't succeed. It says, what if you fail again? And because it sounds logical, many people mistake it for wisdom. But doubt is not wisdom. It's fear wearing a clever disguise. God's design, on the other hand, doesn't argue loudly. It exists quietly within you, steady and patient, waiting for you to listen. Think about how many times you've talked yourself out of opportunities. You wanted to apply for something, but doubt said you weren't qualified enough. You wanted to speak up, but doubt reminded you of a time you were ignored. You wanted to start again, but doubt replayed every mistake you've ever made. Yet somehow, when life forced you into situations you didn't choose, you managed to survive them. That's proof. Doubt said you couldn't handle it, but God's design carried you through anyway. God's design doesn't disappear just because doubt is talking. It doesn't weaken because fear shows up. It remains intact, unshaken, waiting for your agreement. Doubt works by repetition. It keeps saying the same lies until they feel true. Design works by purpose. It doesn't need to shout because it already exists. The moment you begin to trust what's within you, doubt loses its authority. Look at people in everyday situations. Someone walks into a new job feeling unsure, questioning whether they belong. Doubt tells them they were a mistake hire. But over time, as they show up consistently, learn and grow, confidence replaces fear. The ability was always there. Doubt was simply louder at the beginning. God's design needed time and belief to rise. Doubt also loves timing. It speaks strongest right before a breakthrough. Right before you change, right before you grow, right before you succeed. Doubt gets aggressive. It senses movement. It senses courage. And it tries to stop you before momentum builds. That's why so many people quit just before things shift, not because they lack ability, but because they listen to the wrong voice. God's design speaks through inner nudges, quiet courage, and persistence. It's the feeling that tells you, try again. Even after disappointment, it's the strength that keeps you going when there's no applause. It's the calm resolve that says, I can do this even when your hands are shaking. That voice may not be loud, but it's real and it's powerful. In daily life, you see this when someone who was once shy becomes confident, not overnight, but step by step. You see it when someone who once doubted their worth learns to set boundaries. You see it when someone who feared failure learns that failure didn't destroy them. Doubt was loud at first, but it didn't win. Design did. Believing in yourself doesn't mean doubt disappears. It means doubt no longer decides. You stop giving fear the microphone. You stop negotiating with insecurity. You start acting from the understanding that God's design inside you is stronger than the noise around you. That shift changes how you live. You move with intention instead of hesitation. You choose growth over comfort. The most dangerous thing about doubt is not that it questions your ability. It questions your identity. It tries to convince you that you are less than what you were created to be. But when you recognize God's design, you reclaim who you are. You stop measuring yourself by temporary emotions and start trusting the permanent truth inside you. Every time you move forward despite doubt, you weaken its voice. Every time you act in alignment with your purpose, design gets louder. Confidence grows through action. Strength grows through movement. And soon, the voice that once controlled you becomes background noise. God's design doesn't rush you, but it refuses to let you stay small. It keeps calling you forward. And when you finally listen, when you choose belief over fear, you realize something powerful. Doubt was never stronger than you. It was just louder. Believing in yourself is not selfish. It is not arrogance. It is not a moment of pride. It is an act of alignment with the Creator, with the God who designed you, who placed purpose and potential within you before you even existed. So many people fail to understand this simple truth. When you doubt yourself, you are actually questioning the wisdom of God. You are standing in opposition to the very power that shaped your mind, your abilities, and your spirit. When you believe in yourself, you are honoring that creation. You are saying, God, I trust what you put inside me. I trust that you knew what you were doing when you formed me. Look at daily life. Consider the artist who hesitates to pick up the brush because they think their talent is not enough. But when they finally create, when they finally trust themselves to make something from their own hands, the work becomes a reflection of divine intention. It is not just paint on canvas. It is the echo of creation itself. Believing in yourself allows the world to see what God already knows. You are capable of brilliance. That belief is a tribute to the intelligence, creativity, and power that built you from the start. Think about parents. A mother or father who trusts in their own judgment, who believes in their ability to guide, nurture, and protect, acts in alignment with the wisdom placed inside them. They don't wait for validation from others. They move confidently because they recognize that God's guidance is already within them. Every choice they make, every boundary they set, every encouragement they give is evidence of that belief in self. And when they falter, when fear tries to creep in, it is the understanding of their own God-given capacity that allows them to rise again. Believing in yourself is also essential in the workplace, in your career, and in everyday interactions. A young professional may feel overlooked, undervalued, or incapable of leading. Doubt may whisper, "You are not ready." They are more experienced. You will fail. But when that person chooses to trust in the abilities God placed within them, they begin to step forward with authority. They speak ideas confidently, take on challenges boldly, and pursue opportunities that once felt unreachable. By believing in themselves, they are not just advancing their career, they are acting in harmony with the power and potential God built into them from birth. Every time you ignore your doubts and act on your belief in self, you are making a statement that resonates beyond your own life. A student who decides to tackle a difficult subject despite fear of failure honors the mind God gave them. An entrepreneur who takes a leap of faith despite risk honors the vision God placed inside them. A person who chooses to forgive, to lead, to love boldly despite past pain honors the spirit God gave them. Belief in self is not about ego. It is about recognizing and activating what God already placed within you. The most inspiring part of believing in yourself is that it creates a ripple effect. Your confidence encourages others to recognize their own potential. A teacher who believes in their ability to inspire their students ignites courage and curiosity in every classroom. A leader who trusts their judgment fosters strength and initiative in their team. Every act of self-belief is like a beacon of light, revealing to others that the power God placed within them is real and accessible. It is not about comparison. It is about activation. When you stand in your own belief, you give permission for others to rise as well. Believing in yourself also transforms the way you handle setbacks. Life will challenge you, push you, and sometimes try to make you feel small. But when you recognize that God's design is within you, every obstacle becomes a testing ground for that power. You don't crumble in failure. You learn, adapt, and grow stronger. You see mistakes not as defeat, but as part of a divine process of shaping you into the person you were always meant to be. That resilience, that courage, That refusal to be defined by fear or limitation comes directly from belief in yourself aligned with God's design. And here's the truth that changes everything. You were never designed to be small. You were never meant to hide, to doubt, or to minimize what is inside you. Every talent, every instinct, every ounce of potential was placed there intentionally. To doubt yourself is to doubt the Creator. To embrace your capabilities is to honor God's work. When you finally understand this, believing in yourself becomes effortless, natural, and transformative. It becomes not just a choice, but a way of life, a declaration that the power, wisdom, and strength within you are real, and the world will see it. Belief in yourself is sacred. It is a recognition that the life, talents, and potential you have are not accidents or coincidences. They are deliberate acts of divine design. And every time you step forward, act boldly, and trust in your abilities, you are agreeing with that design. You are saying, yes, I am capable. Yes, I am enough. Yes, I will rise. That is the ultimate alignment with God's intention. And the moment you live from that lifts, your life will inspire, uplift, and transform everything around you. Strength is not something you wait for. It is something you claim through action. Too often, people believe that courage, confidence, or power will appear fully formed the moment life becomes easier. But that is not how God built us. Strength grows when we act, when we step forward even while fear lingers, when we choose movement over hesitation. Life does not wait for you to feel ready. Life challenges you in real time, demanding responses, decisions, and action. And it is in those moments of motion that God's planted power inside you comes alive. Think about everyday examples. A young person stepping into their first job may feel completely unprepared. Doubt whispers that they lack the skill, the experience, or the confidence to succeed. But the first day on the job, when they show up and begin learning, asking questions, and taking responsibility, strength begins to grow. The nerves do not vanish, but they no longer control the outcome. Action, simply moving forward, activates the inner resources God placed within them. Courage is not a pre-existing state. It is a response to motion. Every step taken, no matter how small, strengthens the muscle of bravery. Strength grows in families too. A parent who faces conflict with a child may feel exhausted, overwhelmed, or unsure how to guide them. It would be easy to wait until the right moment or until they feel fully prepared. But God's design is such that wisdom, patience, and courage emerge through engagement. Each time a parent listens, sets boundaries, and lovingly enforces principles, inner strength grows. Action produces growth. Waiting produces frustration. By choosing to act, they reveal that strength is not external. It is nurtured through intentional motion, through facing challenges head on. Even in communities, action builds strength. Leaders who see problems, whether poverty, injustice, or neglect, cannot wait until fear, uncertainty, or criticism disappears. The first step, however small, sets the stage for transformation. Organizing a cleanup, mentoring a child, speaking up for someone in need. These are acts that activate power that already exists. God does not wait for perfect conditions to reveal strength. He waits for action to call forth what He already placed inside us. Motion, not hesitation, becomes the amplifier of potential. In the workplace, strength is revealed in those who take initiative even without assurance of immediate reward. A person who volunteers for a project they feel unsure about discovers abilities they never knew existed. They learn to adapt, to handle pressure, and to navigate uncertainty. Action uncovers skill, confidence, and resilience. Waiting, on the other hand, allows fear to grow and opportunities to pass. God's design works through our willingness to move, to act, to show up, even when conditions feel uncertain. Everyday life provides countless opportunities to see this principle. A student who struggles with public speaking may feel paralyzed at the thought of presenting in class, but by choosing to step up and speak, even imperfectly, they activate courage, confidence, and inner strength. Each attempt, each moment of motion builds resilience. The first step is always the hardest, yet it is the one that calls strength forward. God's power inside us does not wait for perfection. It waits for participation. Action also transforms fear. Fear exists to challenge us, but it is through action that fear loses its authority. When you move forward despite fear, when you take steps toward a goal, fear begins to shrink. Each experience teaches you that you are capable. God designed this process intentionally. You were built to grow stronger through engagement, not through avoidance. Life is the testing ground, and motion is the method God uses to awaken inner strength. Even small acts of courage, saying a difficult truth, making a tough decision, standing firm in a disagreement, serve as training grounds for greater power. Strength is cumulative. Each action, each choice to face challenge rather than retreat builds momentum. Over time, what once seemed impossible becomes manageable. What once seemed overwhelming becomes natural. God's inner strength grows in proportion to our willingness to act. The critical insight is this: strength does not precede action. It emerges through it. You do not wait to feel courageous. You become courageous by moving. You do not wait to feel confident. You become confident by showing up. You do not wait to feel strong. You become strong by stepping into challenge, by taking initiative, by refusing to wait for the perfect moment. God's design is such that your potential is always present, but it is your choices, your steps, your motion that awaken it. When you fully embrace this truth, hesitation loses its power. Fear becomes a signal, not a stop sign. Challenges become invitations to act rather than reasons to pause. Life rewards the willing, not the passive. And every time you act, every time you choose motion over fear, you honor the God who planted strength inside you long before you ever needed it. So remember this in your daily life. Don't wait for courage. Don't wait for confidence. Don't wait for perfect conditions. Take the first step. Take the second. Keep moving. Strength grows in action, in engagement, and persistence. God's power inside you is waiting not for comfort, not for readiness, but for motion. And when you choose to act, you will discover that strength was never missing. It was waiting for your steps to call it forward. Your past does not define you. It shapes you. Too many people walk through life carrying the weight of yesterday as if it were a sentence rather than a lesson. They look at mistakes, failures, and losses, and they believe that those moments canceled their potential. But here's the truth that will change everything, every experience, every hardship. Every disappointment you've endured was designed to refine you, to strengthen you, to prepare you for the life you are meant to live. God does not waste experiences. What you survived, what you endured, what you felt powerless against, these are not marks of weakness. They are evidence of strength already present inside you. Think about daily life. A student who struggled through repeated failures in school might feel as though they are incapable of success. But when they learn to rise again, to study harder, to adjust their approach, that struggle becomes the foundation of resilience. They learn patience, perseverance, and determination, qualities that cannot be taught in a classroom, but are cultivated through experience. What once seemed like a setback becomes a stepping stone. The same principle applies to every aspect of life. Every challenge you face has a hidden gift if you are willing to recognize it. Consider someone who has been betrayed or let down by people they trusted. Pain is heavy. It can make you question yourself, your worth, and even your ability to trust again. But through that pain, you develop discernment. You learn boundaries, empathy, and strength. You gain a deeper understanding of human nature and of your own resilience. What once felt like a broken moment becomes the teacher of wisdom. God's design uses hardship to refine your character. And believing in yourself allows you to see that these experiences were not punishments. They were preparation. Even in the workplace, your past shapes your ability to succeed. A professional who has faced rejection, failure, or criticism may carry scars that whisper, "You're not good enough." But those experiences are the very training grounds for excellence. Every project that didn't succeed, every opportunity that slipped away, every criticism that stung, all of it taught lessons that are now tools in your hands. When you stop seeing your past as a limitation and start seeing it as preparation, you realize that strength has been quietly growing inside you all along. Everyday examples are everywhere. A person who survived illness, financial difficulty, or personal loss emerges stronger, wiser, and more resilient. That strength is invisible to those who have not been tested, but it is real and powerful. God does not grant experiences arbitrarily. He allows challenges to cultivate the qualities you will need to thrive. Your past is not an anchor. It is a forge, shaping you into someone capable of facing the future with courage, confidence, and grace. Even mistakes in relationships, in business, or in personal choices serve a purpose. When you failed, when you've stumbled, when you've made decisions that didn't work out, those moments teach lessons that no book, no mentor, no advice could ever fully provide. You learn what works, what doesn't, and most importantly, who you are. Believing in yourself means trusting that the journey, with all its twists and turns, was not wasted. Every misstep has been a teacher, every challenge has been a sculptor, and every struggle has been a builder of strength. Think about athletes, artists, or anyone who has achieved mastery. They didn't reach success without failure. They fell, missed shots, painted over mistakes, and practiced tirelessly. Their past failures were not proof that they were incapable. They were proof that they were learning, growing, and being refined. In the same way, your personal and professional setback are not a verdict on your life. They are proof that you are being prepared for something greater. Every scar, every disappointment, every regret carries the imprint of God's design, reminding you that what you survived has made you stronger. Believing in yourself means looking at the past differently. It means shifting perspective from victimhood to victory, from limitation to preparation. Every experience you've endured, no matter how painful, has been building your endurance, your insight, and your courage. Your past is a collection of lessons, not a list of failures. It is a map, not a trap. And the moment you embrace this truth, you stop letting yesterday dictate tomorrow. You stop letting fear of repeat failures prevent you from stepping forward. You begin to move with clarity, confidence, and a recognition of the strength that has been forged within you. Even in the simplest moments of life, the power of your past is revealed. Someone who struggled to manage time, finances, or relationships and finally learns to master these areas is living proof that every experience served a purpose. Someone who has faced public criticism or personal embarrassment and rises above it demonstrates that strength is cultivated in struggle. Life is not about perfection. It is about preparation. Every setback, every loss, every disappointment is evidence that God is shaping you to rise stronger, wiser, and more capable than you ever imagined. The ultimate truth is this: your past does not cancel your power, it confirms it. Every experience you have endured is a testimony to the strength that has always existed inside you. Every mistake, failure, and hardship was designed to refine you, to teach you, and to prepare you for a life of greater purpose. Believing in yourself is trusting that the God who placed potential within you knew exactly what he was doing when he allowed your past to shape you. The moment you see your history as preparation rather than limitation, you realize that strength was never absent. It was simply being forged quietly inside of you, ready to rise when you finally choose to believe. When you believe in yourself, you don't just change your own life. You ignite a spark in everyone around you. Strength is contagious. Confidence is magnetic. Courage inspires courage. The moment you step into your power, the moment you declare your abilities and refuse to be small, you become a living signal to the world that belief and action create transformation. God designed human beings not only to live individually, but to influence each other. Your self-belief does more than elevate you. It opens a door for others to see that they too can rise, that they too are capable of greatness. Think about daily life examples. A teacher who believes in her ability to shape young minds doesn't just educate, she empowers. Students who may have doubted themselves see her confidence and begin to trust their own intelligence, their own creativity, their own potential. One act of belief cascades into countless small awakenings. Strength is never limited to the individual who claims it. It expands outward, touching lives in ways you may never fully see. When you step into what God placed inside you, you send permission into the world for others to do the same. Consider parents who embrace their own power and purpose. A mother who believes she can overcome challenges, provide guidance, nurture her family doesn't just improve her own life. She shows her children that resilience, determination, and self-trust are real. A father who believes in himself models courage and integrity. Every choice they make, every confident step forward, every challenge they face inspires the next generation. Children don't just listen to words, they watch actions. When you believe in yourself, you are teaching belief by example. That ripple effect may last a lifetime. Even in the workplace, the impact is clear. A leader who trusts their own judgment and acts with confidence encourages team members to step up, to contribute, to take risks. A colleague who stands firm in their skills and abilities creates an atmosphere of possibility. Confidence is like a signal flare. It draws others to believe in their own potential. You may think your actions are small, but the courage you display silently tells everyone around you, you can do this too. God uses believers in themselves to lift communities, workplaces, and entire movements. Look at friends and peers. Someone who overcomes fear, pursues their dreams, or stands firm in integrity becomes a point of inspiration. Others see the example and realize, if they can do it, maybe I can too. Belief in yourself transforms social circles. It reshapes expectations, breaks patterns of doubt, and sets a higher standard for what is possible. One person acting in faith in their own power can shift the energy of an entire room, an entire group, or an entire organization. In daily life, small actions have enormous consequences. A student who dares to speak up in class despite fear empowers classmates to find their voice. An employee who takes initiative despite uncertainty inspires peers to act. A community member who volunteers, leads, or advocates demonstrates that individual strength creates collective progress. Every step you take in alignment with your God-given potential sends a signal to others that strength, courage, and belief are available to all. Believing in yourself also has an exponential effect in relationships. When you walk confidently in your purpose, you create space for others to step into theirs. You demonstrate that limitations are often illusions and that the power God placed inside each person is real. Friends, family members, and colleagues see your persistence, your resilience, your courage, and they begin to mirror it. Inspiration spreads not through words alone, but through the consistent practice of self-belief. Every action you take, no matter how small, becomes a lesson, a model, a template for others to follow. Even in the face of challenges, your belief in yourself reassures those around you. When someone else sees you navigate a difficult situation with faith in your own ability, they gain courage to face their own trials. God often chooses the empowered individual to be a beacon. Your life becomes proof that limitation does not define destiny, that obstacles are opportunities. The power inside each of us is greater than the circumstances around us. The beauty of believing in yourself is that it creates a cycle. Your confidence inspires others. Their inspiration strengthens their actions, and their actions create even more possibility. One life aligned with God's design, walking boldly in belief, can affect dozens, hundreds, even thousands over time. Strength multiplied is never diminished, it grows. Courage passed on is never lost, it spreads. Self-belief is not selfish. It is a gift that radiates outward, touching lives in ways you cannot always measure. Remember this in your daily life. Every step you take in trust of your own abilities, every decision you make to act with confidence, every moment you refuse to shrink is a silent declaration to the world that strength is available. You become a living testimony, proof that what God places inside each of us is real, powerful, and transformative. People will watch you, learn from you, and dare to rise because you dared first. That is the ultimate impact of believing in yourself. The ripple of your courage creates waves of possibility for everyone around you. When you finally embrace this truth, you begin to live differently. You no longer shrink to make others comfortable. You no longer wait for permission to act. You step boldly, and in doing so, you allow others to step as well. Belief in yourself is not only a personal victory, it is a divine act of influence, a living example that God's power is present, capable, and ready to rise in every person willing to trust it. The moment you embrace your strength, the world begins to feel the awakening. And that, my friends, is the power of self-belief.